Welcome to another edition of the Insider Mailbag. I'm Jarret Johnson, and I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, man, how you doing?
Not too bad, man. Can't complain. How about yourself, Jarret?
I'm good, and you know, there's been a lot of talk about, and rightfully so, about how dominant all these spring sports have been. Oh, yeah. I mean, come on. You got the baseball team's undefeated. I think they went to, are they 13-0, 14-0 now?
Well, today
after they won today, yeah. So 14-0. They won on Wednesday. They beat New Mexico, and then, which is the best ever start. I mean, they're top three, if not number one team by the time this airs in the country. I mean, you have obviously the track team's number one in the country. The basketball team finished better than ever in the Big 12. Most wins since '96. Going, you know, I guess by the time this airs, they will have already played Thursday night in Kansas City. So that'll be interesting. But I thought we'd start where it all started, this dominance, this Red Raider dominance. And we're right by Red Raider Meats. And we're here, if you can see these cows behind us, or these bulls behind us, the Texas Tech meat judging team. That's really where it started, Mighty Joe, this dominance. I think they've won like 10 out of the last 11 national titles or something like that.
Sure. Yeah, well, all we need to really complete the whole ensemble is put some like chess boards and tables out here like
Texas
that.
Tech chess,
because
that's
the
right.
chess team, you know. So.
Cheerleading team too. Didn't they win a national title recently?
And the Palm Squad.
Yeah, the Palm Squad.
That's right. I think both of them actually.
Wow.
Yeah, so talk about talent, man, in all sorts of ways.
So basically, and I didn't mean to do this, but basically other than football and women's basketball, just dominating everywhere, right?
Pretty much.
Awesome. All right. So speaking of dominating, we got some great questions from y'all this week. We're going to start with one from Pointman 1, who wants to know, what are the chances of achieving Tech's first national championship, speaking of domination, in a men's team sport this spring, and who does it? I'm going to jump out there with track. I mean, they've been dominant almost the whole season, just won a Big 12 title. I'm going to say men's indoor track.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and they got two chances to do it. They got the indoors coming up, and then I believe the outdoors are in June. So if you want to count that as well, you know, they got two cracks at it, man. So good chance. But hey, don't count out these other two teams as well. I mean, the Tech basketball team could get hot and get healthy, and they have the potential to do it. I mean, it's crazier things have happened. And then of course the baseball team, you know, right now probably is about as good as anybody in America. So wow.
All right, Jaw Burrs, over-under game. We haven't had one of these for a while, so I'm excited. Thank you, Jaw Burrs, for submitting it. We're going to start with Tech baseball wins 42 games, regular season only. And he said the total number of games is 56.
Keeping in with the spirit of how we've been going so far, I'm going to go over.
Yeah, I mean, they're 14-0 as of the time we aired this. So, I mean, and they just swept the number 11 South Alabama team last weekend. Yeah, I'm going to go with over. All right, Tech basketball as a 4 seed in the NCAA tourney. I'm going to say push.
Same here.
Okay, I thought maybe you were at 3. Are you at 4?
I'm at 4 right now.
Okay. All right. Tech football lands 2 grad transfers in football.
Push.
I'm going to say under. I think they already have, as Kingsbury brought up the other day, 70 scholarship guys on campus. They're going to be bringing several more. I think they're going to award some walk-on guys. I think they might add a grad transfer, but I think they're going light this year on that kind of thing. Jet Duffy starts 2 of 3 spring games.
I'm going to go under.
Yeah, under 2. McLean Carter is going to start at least 2, if not all of them. Trey Kings runs for 1,000 yards in the fall.
I'm going to go over because I think he can do it. I think Tech's going to lean on him, and I think they've got the horses up front to make it happen for him. So over on the 1,000, sure. You know what?
There's definitely a compelling argument, which you just made, to say over. Another part of this, Kevin Johns, I think the last 3 seasons that he's been offensive coordinator, he's had a 1,000-yard rusher. So it may even be 4. So there's a lot of evidence there, like you said, offensive line, and I like Trey King. That being said, I really think DeLeon Ward's going to get a lot of carries this year. He looks really good. I saw him in spring the other day. It's just a spring practice, but I saw Kingsbury really give him a lot of attention, really a lot of instruction, but not in a bad way, but just coaching him up. And I think, he's proven to me that he can be a guy who you could lean on. I mean, I always look back to that TCU game where he had like 20-something carries in an overtime win there in Fort Worth against, as good of a defense as you're going to see normally in the Big 12. So I think they're going to run for a lot, and I think maybe they each could get around 800 yards, to be honest. This is the last one, Joe. A freshman wide receiver goes for 450 yards receiving this fall. any wide receiver, any freshman.
Yeah, I will. Actually, I'm going to go over on that one too.
Really?
I really do. I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to go ahead and say that Royals will pull it out and crack that number just barely.
I'm going to go under, just because I do think in the end some of these veterans are going to be able to hold them off. All right, next question comes from Corazon, who wants to know how much will Keenan play in the Big 12 tourney? How close to 100% is he and Zach, or will they be before the dance?
Well, he'll play as much as necessary and as little as possible, if that makes any sense. I mean, yeah, I think Beard wants to get on a hot streak here. He said that he was happy to get that win at TCU to get on the winning mark.
Right.
And if you can parlay that and kind of build some momentum going in, I think he probably wants to do that. And he's just a competitor. You know, he doesn't want to lose under any circumstance. Yeah. So I think, first off, I think that Keenan is probably getting pretty darn healthy right now. Look at what he did, 23 points in the second half against TCU. He's coming around pretty good, and he's had some time off here. So I think he's going to play an awful lot. But, I mean, if you are fortunate enough to get in a situation where you're blowing somebody out, then obviously they're going to rest him. But I think these games are all going to be tough and close, and so I don't see Keenan sitting a whole lot, to tell the truth. Zach, the question was also about Zach as well. Yes. I think that rolled ankle was just kind of a minor deal, and I think they were holding him out basically as a precaution. I think he's probably in the best health that he's been since he first had that injury to begin with.
How awesome was it seeing him throwing down a couple of those? You know, he had a two-hand monster slam off a curl, and then he had that alley-oop, one-hand tomahawk from Keenan in the first half, which was freaking sweet. So, no, I agree with you. I mean, I do believe Beard probably wants to win it more than maybe some of us as far as the Big 12 tournament. I mean, I was kind of surprised to hear some of his comments, and I believed him to be sincere when he was saying that they do want to make a deep run in the Big 12 tournament. And if they're going to do that, then Keenan's going to be a big part of that. I mean, I think that's been proven out. If they're going to win and do anything in the Big 12, Keenan's going to be a big part of accomplishing that. So, and yeah, I think Zach will be fine. I do. I think both of them. I really do think that both of them, no, they're not going to be 100%, but they're going to be closer than they were down the stretch of the Big 12 regular season, if that makes sense. Bruce Lee wants to know if JoJo Robinson has a legit shot at starting receiver spot in 2018. He says he knows it's early, but what do we project as far as the run-pass ratio for the offense as well?
Well, I think he's got a shot. I personally, I don't have him as a starter right now, but I think it's possible because Tech is so light at receiver in terms of experience and productivity. And he's a guy who's got some talent, man. You know, I mean, so he's got a shot at it. And as far as the run-pass ratio, you know, I don't think it's going to be that much different from what it was last year. And last year, I believe it was 54-46 or something along those lines. So it's probably going to be pretty similar.
Next question is from Texan, who says Zach Kitley and Jordan Davis were offensive grad assistants last year and have moved on. Any word on the two new grad assistants this season? Yeah, I mean, Skylar Cassidy is a guy that he actually, I know he played lacrosse at Auburn, and then he was, I'm sure he played football too. He also was an intern at Auburn after graduating, and then he was a grad assistant at Texas State last year before coming over here to Tech. He's a defensive grad assistant, so you're going to get help there. I believe it's, I'm not sure, but I believe it's DBs. I don't think it's like D-line. But speaking of D-line, your other grad assistant is Tevin Mims. He's a guy who's actually been here for a while now. He's been quality control on the defensive line for at least a year, maybe 2 years actually. So he's familiar with the program, and you know what you're getting out of him. Okay. DFW Tech fan asks, who do you predict to be the starters across the board at skill positions on offense? Let's just list them.
Okay. I'm going to go with Trey Kings. Well, quarterback, let's go with, you know, actually, I think it's going to be a little bit of a committee deal. Okay. I think both of those guys are going to start a lot. Okay. Carter, Duffy. Running back, Trey King. You may be going a different direction, but Trey King. And then the receivers, Vasher, obviously. I'm going to go with Shorts. Yep. I'm going to go with Wesley. Yep. And I'm going to take a little bit of a flyer on Zach Austin if he can get, and the assumption obviously that he can get healthy. That's a good player when he's healthy and when he's right. So I'm just banking on that he's going to get it together.
All right, I'm going to agree with you on most of that, except I'm going to say Duffy as starter, but I don't know about that. I think you may be right there as far as they may not have really a clear-cut starter, so it may be like let's see who's hot today, you know, who works. I do agree. Trey King, Vasher, Quan Shorts. Wesley too, I think he could be a weapon inside for you there. And then I'm going to go with, this is where I'm going to differ from you the most, I'm going to go with Daquan Bowman. Kingsbury said the other day he's been playing well. He's a guy I've seen actually in past springs and falls actually perform at a pretty high level, but he's just had some really good players ahead of him at inside receiver. It's his time, and I think he's going to make the most of it. Juicebox, final question here, Mighty Joe. Juicebox wants to know my funniest memory. I'm assuming he's asking me.
Yeah.
My funniest memory of working with Mighty Joe, Zach, and Double T Farmer, if I have one, on Josh's career. Yeah, he'll take it as well. Yeah, Josh is pretty young. I think the only thing I've had with Josh is I kind of be like, hey man, take that hat off, you know, before we do this video kind of deal. But other than that, I mean, Josh has been great. Mighty Joe, I think the funniest thing about Mighty Joe, and it's hard to explain, is that you can't pigeonhole Mighty Joe. You can say, oh, he's a West Texan, or he's a old get off my lawn guy. No, that's not the case. And like I like to kid him about being kind of out of touch with today's culture, but that's not really necessarily true at all. I think the funniest thing though, and the thing that I think maybe 30 years from now, one of my main memories will be, we had a great trip to Fort Worth, don't get me wrong, we partied our butts off, and it was a lot of fun. But in the Arizona trip was very different. But I do have one really hilarious memory for me, was when we were checking out of a hotel, and I just happened, I texted, said, okay, we're going to check out, I'll meet you out there. And I heard a door shut, or I thought maybe it was going to be the clean lady. I was going to tell her no. And I went to look at the keyhole, and I saw you walk out, but you didn't have your bags. So I understood you were going to be walking back. And it's hard to kind of explain, but between every room, there was these huge walls, to where there was kind of like a 3 to 4 foot step kind of entryway to every room. So it was kind of like you could hide behind those walls, is what I'm saying. So I knew he was going to be coming back. I saw him, he didn't see me. I kind of peeked around a wall, and he's coming back to you now. And I hid behind this wall, and as soon as Joe, I could hear him coming. As soon as I heard he was just a couple of steps away from where I was behind a wall, I jumped out straight Belushi style, and then screamed like a lot louder than that. And the look of pure terror and horror on Mighty Joe's face, where it was prolonged to the point to where I went from laughing my butt off to genuinely being concerned that you may stroke out or have a heart attack or something, which thankfully you didn't. You weren't too happy with me. I was worried about you spitting in my drink the rest of the trip, but assuming that you didn't, it was worth it, because it was hilarious. That was,
he got me.
Well, yeah, that was one of my favorite memories. With Zach, just briefly, I'll say, Zach's another guy. He's all these people have different. You definitely manage them differently. Have different reasons for working here, very different reasons, and widely different personalities. But my favorite early memory of working with Zach was he came in. I met him at Big 12 Media Day, and it was his first Big 12 Media Day, and he was really excited. And he showed up. He left work there in Las Colinas to meet at the hotel there in Dallas, and he was going to work. It's a working day, especially like a younger guy. Put him to work to do a lot of stories. It's a good learning opportunity in that setting. And he showed up without his laptop. I was like, and he was like, oh, I didn't know I needed that. I was like, are you serious? Come on, man. So he had to go back and get his laptop. And so it was just kind of like, definitely like, y'all seen how far Zach's come along. I mean, he's the man with recruiting info. But the dude didn't even bring his laptop to Big 12 Media Day, so which may not be so funny to you because you don't even have a laptop. You're right. But for everyone else in the business, of course, you have laptop and will travel. So, but no, great. Like I said on the board, I think we're really blessed with a great staff. Everybody really busts their butt for y'all, for me, for the site, and I think we're really lucky to have the crew we do. It's very different. Everybody's very different. It's probably more of an eclectic group than I think at face value if you look at them. So, but I'm really glad for all y'all to work with me and for us, and I think it's worked well so far. So, speaking of great stuff from you today, Joe. As always, thank y'all for watching, and until next time.